New tonight and only on News 19, we're hearing from the parents of the Alabama A&M student found shot to death. I'm Tamika Alexander.
Glad with us. I'm Ben Hoover. Her parents say the last time they talked to their daughter was Tuesday. She was talking to them about how she was frustrated about a test. Police discovered Nadia Perkins' body on Wednesday morning.
Then today they arrested the man who they say shot her to death. And tonight her parents are speaking only to News 19. They told me about how they'll remember their daughter.
Nadia was a ball of sunshine. She always tried to see the best in everyone, always tried to advise and, give good advice to everyone. She always tried to look out for the best. She was silly, she was goofy, she loved to sing, she loved to dance.
Meanwhile, Huntsville police arrested Ahmad Khalil Barney this afternoon on a murder warrant for Nadia Perkins' death. She was shot and killed Wednesday at the Candlewood Apartments. Her parents tell us they knew of Barney before the shooting.
We're glad that he's arrested.
We knew of him because she called us about him. They've been talking for about a couple weeks.
Months.
Told her, do not keep going over there.
Nadia Diana Elise Perkins was a young woman who carried herself with quiet determination and a hopeful outlook on life. At just 19 years old, she had already taken important steps toward building a future that would make her family proud. Friends and relatives often described her as kind, focused, and full of ambition. She valued education and believed strongly in creating opportunities for herself through hard work and perseverance. Originally from Montgomery, Alabama, Nadia grew up surrounded by people who supported her goals. Those close to her said she had a warm personality and a gentle spirit that made others feel comfortable around her. She enjoyed spending time with loved ones, sharing laughter, and planning for the years ahead. Like many young adults beginning their journey into independence, she looked forward to discovering who she would become. Her decision to attend Alabama A&M University marked a major milestone in her life. Becoming a college student represented progress, growth, and the chance to pursue her dreams. She embraced campus life with enthusiasm, eager to learn, meet new friends, and take part in activities that would shape her future. Professors and classmates quickly noticed her dedication and positive attitude. To those who knew her best, Nadia was more than a student. She was a daughter, a friend, and a young woman with a vision for success. She believed that education would open doors and allow her to create a meaningful life. Her journey had only just begun, and the possibilities ahead seemed endless.
Girl Nadia Elise, and we are back with another video, as you guys can see by the title. This is my graduation vlog, period. That's why I look a mess. Don't talk about me. Thank you. Good morning. It is graduation morning. Yesterday I was all over the place because I was rushing, but this is my last clusters that I did. These are my nails and hair. I'm gonna just spray it and go. It's graduation morning, time to get dressed, y'all. To put on my dress, y'all.
But in early 2026, events would unfold that no one around her could have predicted. What started as an ordinary chapter in her life would soon become the center of a heartbreaking investigation that shocked a university community and left many searching for answers. If you want more real-life true crime stories told with clarity and respect, remember to like and subscribe to Behind the Crime Tape. As Nadia settled into her new routine at Alabama A&M University, she began building connections and forming relationships that shaped her college experience. Like many young adults navigating independence for the first time, she balanced academics, friendships, and personal life while adjusting to the responsibilities of living away from home. Those close to her said she remained focused on her studies and stayed committed to her long-term goals. During this period, Nadia entered into a romantic relationship with a young man named Ahmad Khalil Barney. At first, the relationship appeared typical of many college romances. They spent time together, communicated regularly, and shared moments that seemed ordinary to those around them. Friends recalled seeing them together on campus and in the community, and nothing initially suggested that their relationship would become a source of concern. However, as time passed, people close to Nadia began noticing subtle changes. Some friends later shared that disagreements between the couple seemed to happen more frequently. Like many relationships, They experienced tension and misunderstandings, but there were moments when arguments appeared more intense than expected. While conflicts in relationships are not uncommon, those who cared about Nadia hoped the situation would improve. Despite these challenges, Nadia continued focusing on her education and daily responsibilities. She attended classes, kept in touch with family members, and worked toward building a stable future. Her loved ones believed she was strong, capable, and determined to overcome any obstacles that came her way. Then, in early March 2026, a disagreement between the couple would escalate in a way no one anticipated. What began as a personal conflict would soon draw the attention of law enforcement and set the stage for a tragic series of events that would forever change the lives of everyone involved. In the days leading up to the incident, life for Nadia appeared to be moving forward as usual. She continued attending classes, communicating with friends, and staying connected with family members who checked in regularly to make sure she was doing well. Those who spoke with her during that time later said she sounded focused and hopeful about the future, just as she always had been. But on the evening of March 4, 2026, events began to unfold that would soon take a serious turn. According to investigators, Nadia was at a residence in Huntsville, Alabama, where she had been spending time with her boyfriend, Ahmad Khalil Barney. What started as a conversation between the two eventually developed into a heated disagreement. The exact details of the argument were later examined closely by authorities, as they worked to understand how the situation escalated so quickly. Neighbors in the area would later report hearing raised voices coming from inside the residence. At the time, it may have sounded like a typical dispute, something that many people might not have thought required intervention. However, as the evening progressed, communication from Nadia suddenly stopped. Friends and family members who attempted to reach her received no response, which quickly became a cause for concern. Not long afterward, emergency responders were called to the location. When authorities arrived, they discovered that a serious situation had occurred inside the home. Investigators secured the scene and began gathering information, recognizing that the circumstances required immediate attention and a thorough investigation. News of what had happened spread quickly throughout the community. Students at Alabama A&M University and residents across Huntsville were left stunned, struggling to understand how a disagreement had turned into a tragedy. For Nadia's loved ones, the uncertainty and shock marked the beginning of a painful journey toward finding answers. As the investigation began to unfold, the news of Nadia Diana Elise Perkins' death quickly spread throughout Huntsville and across the campus of Alabama A&M University. Students, faculty members, and local residents struggled to process the sudden loss of a young woman whose life had only just begun. For many, the tragedy felt deeply personal, even for those who had never met her. University officials responded by offering support services to students and staff who were affected by the incident. Counselors were made available on campus, and messages of encouragement were shared across social media platforms. Classmates described Nadia as friendly, respectful, and focused on her education. Some remembered seeing her walking across campus with determination, always appearing calm and hopeful about what the future held. Meanwhile, law enforcement officers continued their work behind the scenes. Detectives carefully examined the residence where the incident had taken place, documenting evidence and speaking with potential witnesses. Their goal was to build a clear timeline of events and understand exactly what had happened during the final hours leading up to the tragedy.
A woman dead after a shooting at an apartment complex in Huntsville this morning. Police say officers responded to reports of shots fired around 9 a.m. and when they arrived, they found a woman dead inside an apartment.
That's right, Jim. I'm here at Candlewood Apartments where the scene is no longer blocked off, but police say this is still very much an active investigation into what led to this deadly shooting. Huntsville police say this all started around 9 a.m. when officers responded to reports of shots fired. According to Sergeant Chris Jackson, bystanders directed officers to a specific building here at Candlewood Apartments. Inside one of the units, officers found a woman dead. The Madison County coroner, Dr. Tyler Berryhill, says her death has been ruled a homicide. Her identity has not yet been released. One witness who asked not to be identified says he heard the gunshots and immediately called 911.
A coworker and I heard 4 or 5 shots go off and a woman screaming. When the shots stopped, we went towards the woman screaming just to see if she was okay. We asked her, was she okay? She didn't answer. We called the police. They were here within about 30 seconds, really. It's tragic. It's sad.
Another neighbor says the violence has left him feeling uneasy.
It's kind of scary knowing that it can happen to anyone. It's frightening. To the family members, you deeply have my condolences.
Huntsville police say they are continuing to piece together what happened inside that apartment.
Investigators emphasized that every detail mattered, and they worked methodically to ensure that the case would be handled with professionalism and accuracy. As the investigation progressed, authorities began identifying a person of interest connected to the case. Information released to the public indicated that Nadia's boyfriend, Ahmad Khalil Barney, was believed to have been present at the residence during the time of the incident. This development raised many questions within the community, as people waited anxiously for updates and hoped that justice would be served. For Nadia's family, the days that followed were filled with grief, confusion, and a deep desire for answers. They leaned on one another for strength, determined to honor her memory while trusting that the legal process would reveal the truth. As investigators worked to piece together the events surrounding Nadia Diana Elise Perkins' death, attention quickly turned toward locating Ahmad Khalil Barney. Authorities believed he had information that was critical to understanding what had happened inside the residence on that March evening. When officers arrived at the scene and began their initial inquiry, Barney was no longer present, which immediately raised concern and urgency among law enforcement officials. The Huntsville Police Department launched a coordinated effort to find him. Detectives gathered details about his recent movements, spoke with individuals who might have seen him, and reviewed available information that could help determine his whereabouts. Law enforcement agencies in surrounding areas were notified, and the search expanded beyond the immediate neighborhood. Officers emphasized that their goal was to locate him safely and bring clarity to the situation as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, the case continued to draw attention from the public. Community members followed updates closely, sharing information and expressing support for Nadia's family. Social media platforms became filled with messages calling for justice and urging anyone with knowledge about the case to come forward. Many people felt a deep sense of responsibility to ensure that her story would not be forgotten. During this time, investigators remained focused on gathering evidence and establishing a clear sequence of events. They understood that careful, thorough work was essential to building a strong case. Every interview, document, and piece of information was reviewed to ensure accuracy and fairness in the legal process. For Nadia's loved ones, the waiting period was especially difficult. They held on to hope that answers would soon emerge and that those responsible would be held accountable under the law. The search for truth had become a priority not only for authorities, but for an entire community seeking justice. Days after the search began, law enforcement officials announced a major development in the case. Ahmad Khalil Barney had been located and taken into custody. According to authorities, officers were able to track his movements and identify his location after receiving information that helped narrow their search. The arrest was carried out without incident, bringing a sense of relief to investigators and members of the community who had been anxiously waiting for updates. Once in custody, Barney was formally charged in connection with Nadia Diana Elise Perkins' death. Officials stated that the charges reflected the seriousness of the situation and the evidence gathered during the early stages of the investigation. The legal process now shifted into a new phase, one that would involve court hearings, legal representation, and careful review of the facts surrounding the case. News of the arrest spread quickly throughout Huntsville and beyond. Students at Alabama A&M University shared the update with one another, and many expressed hope that the development marked the beginning of justice for Nadia. Community leaders encouraged patience and respect for the legal process, reminding the public that the courts would ultimately determine responsibility based on evidence and testimony. For Nadia's family, the arrest represented an important step forward, even as their grief remained overwhelming. They continued to honor her memory, remembering her kindness, ambition, and the dreams she had carried into adulthood. Loved ones spoke about the importance of accountability and the need for answers that could help bring closure. As the case moved toward the courtroom, prosecutors and investigators prepared to present their findings. The coming months would determine how the justice system responded, and whether the truth behind that tragic night would be fully revealed. For more real-life cases told with clarity and respect, remember to like and subscribe to Behind the Crime Tape. As the case moved into the legal system, attention shifted from the investigation to the courtroom. Prosecutors began reviewing the evidence collected by detectives, while defense attorneys prepared to represent Ahmaud Khalil Barney. The legal process required patience, careful examination of facts, and strict adherence to the rules that govern criminal proceedings. For Nadia Diana Elise Perkins' family, this stage marked a critical step toward accountability and answers. Court hearings were scheduled to determine how the case would proceed. During these early appearances, the judge addressed procedural matters such as charges, legal representation, and timelines for future proceedings. Each hearing carried emotional weight for those connected to the case. Family members, friends, and supporters often gathered to show solidarity and to honor Nadia's memory. Their presence reflected the deep impact her loss had on the community. Prosecutors focused on building a clear narrative based on witness statements, physical evidence, and investigative findings. Their responsibility was to demonstrate what happened and why the charges were justified. Meanwhile, the defense worked to challenge aspects of the case and ensure that their clients' legal rights were protected. This balance between the two sides is a fundamental part of the justice system, designed to ensure fairness and accuracy before any final decision is made. Outside the courtroom, community members continued to express support for Nadia's family. Many people hoped that the legal process would bring clarity and closure. While the outcome had not yet been decided, the proceedings represented progress toward resolving a tragedy that had shaken so many lives. As the case moved forward, one question remained at the center of everyone's mind. Would justice ultimately be served? As time passed, the story of Nadia Diana Elise Perkins remained deeply felt by her family, friends, and the wider community. What began as a promising chapter in the life of a young college student had turned into a painful reminder of how quickly circumstances can change. Those who knew her continued to reflect on her determination, kindness, and the bright future she had been working toward at Alabama A&M University.
So we in the line waiting to graduate. Yeah. So the team. This is my bestie. Our other bestie.
So we have a graduate. Woo!
Let's take some more pictures later.
How do you feel, Messiah?
I'm gonna put this in my blog, so send this to me.
Okay. You feel to be a graduate?
It's so bittersweet. It's like, I don't really feel real. I feel like I got school next year, birthday. But I do.
You do, boo?
Her loved ones made it clear that they wanted her life to be remembered for more than the tragedy that ended it. They spoke about her dreams, her sense of responsibility, and the positive energy she brought into every room. Many described her as someone who valued education and believed strongly in building a better future through perseverance. These memories became a source of strength for those grieving her loss. Community members also found ways to honor her legacy. Vigils, messages of support, and shared stories helped keep her memory alive. Students and residents came together to emphasize the importance of respect, healthy relationships, and conflict resolution. The case sparked conversations about awareness and the need to address disagreements peacefully before they escalate into irreversible consequences. From a legal standpoint, the justice process continued to move forward. Court proceedings and future decisions would ultimately determine the final outcome and whether full accountability would be established. While the path through the legal system can take time, many people remained hopeful that the truth would be recognized and that justice would be delivered in accordance with the law. Nadia's story stands as a reminder of the value of life and the importance of making responsible choices during moments of conflict. Her memory continues to inspire calls for understanding, safety, and unity within the community. Thank you for following this case. If you want more real-life stories told with clarity, respect, and purpose, remember to like and subscribe to Behind the Crime Tape.